Well, one special memory was in comparison to today, when students seem to have full reign of everything all over campus. In our day, when we arrived in our freshman year, we had hours, and we were supposed to be back in the dorm every night at 8:30 in the evening. And doors were locked, and it was a serious infraction if we weren't there. And that kind of rule all along. Another one is that while women really weren't supposed to smoke, if they did smoke, they certainly could not smoke walking on the street. That would not be good.
And kind of going along with that, now that you mentioned smoking, there were cigarette reps who came to campus every Friday and handed out 3 packs of cigarettes to you as you walked by. And obviously it was authorized by the college because they were here. And I think, we had a dress code, which meant that you had to wear a skirt to classes. You had to get dressed for dinner. You had to wear a skirt if you went downtown, even if it was freezing cold and snowing.
There was a temperature. You could
there
wear
was.
pants under 20 degrees.
There was,
yeah.
Got below a certain temperature, you were allowed to switch.
I have 2 memories, actually. One is penny a minute night, where your boyfriend could actually pay for an extra 30 minutes to keep you out after hours for a penny a minute.
No.
And one guy
Obviously never had anybody else.
One guy wrote me a check. I kept the check for years. But the other more serious memory is I was a member of the Allegheny Singers, which is a wonderful experience. And we were on a tour in New York State, traveling back to Allegheny. And we stopped one morning at a lookout place in this beautiful valley. And we all got off the bus and were walking around watching. And it was so beautiful, so meaningful to us. And one of the basses started off a song that we all did, where the basses start and then the tenors and altos. It was "O Day Full of Grace." And that day was a day full of grace. And I still get choked up when I think about that morning. And it was all spontaneous. It just happened.
I was a city girl, grew up in Cleveland Heights, and one of the most memorable things that affected my whole life was the outing club. And I remember the day when my brother dropped me off in front of Brooks at the beginning of my junior year, and one of the other members of the outing club ran up and said, "Kathy, there's a new member of the physics department, and he's agreed to be an advisor to the outing club." Well, that was at the beginning of my junior year. And in January of my senior year, I was married to that faculty member, and I'm still married to him. And so the outing club not only gave me an outdoor experience, it sparked my life for the wilderness and the outdoors, and now I live in the wilderness and the outdoors, and it enhanced my major in biology.
We were talking about this
were.
earlier, and I guess we came up with it somewhat jointly. We all really liked Dr. Hutchison, our philosophy professor. And,
He was blind, but he used to say that he got his PhD at Harvard because he liked the crimson cowl that he got to wear. He had a very good sense of humor.
It was just an introduction to a topic that is just so full and rich and large, and he was a great person to introduce it in our
I
lives.
think I remember Paul Cares the most. I was a history major, went on to teach history, and he was, as you, I don't know, you probably wouldn't remember, he was a large man with kind of sandy blonde hair, reddish blonde hair, and I remember particularly one day he was going to teach about Henry VIII, and we all were sitting in class, and he was rarely late, but this day he was not in class, and we were sitting kind of waiting. All of a sudden, the door flung open, and he came into class, put his hands on his hips, and he was Henry VIII. There was no question about it in my mind.
Oh, I had him for U.S. history and Reformation and.
And he just made history so
Yeah.
alive.
Well, I can't just choose one professor. There were two.
Well,
One-
you do have a favorite, we know.
one was Jay Buus, who taught
Yes.
appreciation of music.
Yes. Yeah.
And he gave me the gift of a lifelong appreciation of classical music. And he taught us how to hear music and how to follow the music and stick with it until you learned it. And the other was Dr. Julian Ross in his comprehensive literature
Yes.
course. And that, again, a lifelong of reading books and understanding them and discussing them with others. And these two things are part of our entire life that you take away. And there are other things that you take away from college. And it's important for people who haven't been exposed to this type of literature and music to have an opening into it in their early years.
And I think one of the things that came up at lunch today was the G courses. We were required to take 8 out of 9 G courses. And they were all an introduction to their particular subject. But they were in areas that you might not have been interested in previously. But I loved them. I mean, I learned so much about science, and I learned that I really loved science. I didn't know that before, you know. And I taught elementary school for 7 years, and I used every single one of those courses with my elementary school kids. But it's the same sort of thing you were talking about, music appreciation, which was one of the G courses. You know, we still use all of those things that we learned in those classes.
Well, we were talking also this afternoon about the fact that there are people today saying that college education is not worth the money and you'll never earn it back and that sort of thing. And we all went, no. If earning money is your only measure of success, then that they're probably right. But if having a well-rounded, wonderful life is your measure of success, then I think we probably can all say it certainly came from Allegheny.
It adds to your quality of life
Exactly.
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.